Alright guys, looks like we're doing another solo cast today. Unfortunately, I tried getting hold of a few people. Couldn't get any help for this one either. So this is going to be the first round for the 2v2 OmniLeague, the group stages. And this is going to be Group B. TT1 and Banana TQ versus GGeasy and Dingo. Just a quick kind of like reminder breakdown of like the format of how this these games are going to go today. It is a best of 3 on 3 different maps. So the first map they're going to play is BGH, and then the loser of that series plays their map, and then they go to the final map. And it's going to be a best of 3 on each map, like I was saying. They play all 3 maps no matter what, so even if one team wins like 2 of the maps, you still go to map 3 because we're doing it based on overall map score. You get 1 point for a map win, and then you get an additional point for winning the series. So if you win the best of 3 on a particular map, you get 3 points. We got 2 groups. There's 3 teams in each group. Each team, it's a round robin for each group, and then we'll take the 2 like winning teams, like the winning team from each group, and then they'll do a series at the end. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and jump straight into the first series here on BGH. And yeah, I'm really curious. This is kind of what I'm excited for. I'm excited to see what kind of like different strategies and stuff we're going to be pulling out for these games. Alright, so we have Banana TQ playing Protoss top left, TT1 mid left, and their opponents, kind of assumed, okay, I got it right, but yeah, their opponents, Performance, which I guess is Dingo, top right, and then GGeasy here at 6 o'clock playing Terran. So we have 3 Protosses and a Terran here. Alright, so one thing with BGH is that Terran is pretty weak in the like very early game. But they scale really well into the mid and late game, especially in BGH because you have like all these ridges and cliffs. They can like punish a lot of certain expos and stuff from across like the rivers. So tanks can be really efficient when you have map control as Terran. Mech obviously does really well against Protoss. But part of the issue is because their early game is so weak, they can get cannon in very easily, and if cannons go down like at a choke or something here, it does mean Terran won't be able to push out until essentially siege tanks, or they can go for a big bio bust, which can be risky because if it goes up to like 5, 6, 7 cannons, then it takes a lot of bio to try and break through that. When you have 2 toss and you're against 1 toss, 1 Terran, you basically automatically lose the early game. So you kind of have to concede the very early game. Even if you're going bio, you can't fight. So you have like a handful of bio, and sometimes you need like stim and stuff even. And it is actually going to be bio from GGeasy here. Bio obviously has a lot more potential for early game, but it's a very small window where I think it has an advantage over mech. Against double Protoss anyway. So as you saw, TT1 said that he'll go for cannon here. One thing is too, I know that TT1 and Banana both have played at least some BGH. I have played against Banana multiple times, and I think he's a very strong player even on BGH. And TT1, I haven't played him personally, but I've also been told that he's really good. Banana and TT1 are the low money team as well. As I mentioned, I think I mentioned it, GGeasy and Dingo. Performance, I guess we'll call him Performance today, is fastest. So that's why they're playing on BGH. The first map will always be whatever map the neither team came from. Kind of the mutual map. Zelly coming down 6 o'clock here. Just basically gonna keep them busy, give them something to think about while we throw down a pylon and try to start up our cannons. The pylon comes down. And this pylon here is not for cannons, we're actually going 3-gate. So this pylon is purely to reduce surface area. I think the positioning's a little bit tough, we'll see how he works with it. But you kind of want pylons. You can use pylons to reduce surface area, and if you pull them past pylons, then it basically reduces the opponent's surface area. While you're able to, like if you come out here and make them fight, like in this smaller area here, they can't get their army here, so you end up being able to get more surface area. Oh, he's still gas. It's very interesting. There's no real reason to still gas, but yeah, sure, why not? The bio's coming out, but the cannons are actually going to finish in time, and even with just one cannon here. Alright, I've been clicking around too much, I apologize for that. I was going to try to stop doing that. But even with like the one cannon of the zealots here, we can easily stop this amount of marines here. With the academy here, it doesn't really help you with breaking out. Going up to 3 cannons can stop a lot of bio. You pretty much have to get to siege tanks now before you can move out. But he's going to threat on a third barracks, which means he's going to try and just bio bust it. But because he's held, and while he's trying to build this up, now performance has to worry about getting doubled here. So once your teammate gets cannoned, you kind of need to drop your own forge. Because you're going to be fighting 1v2 for a while. But we went up to gas, we dropped a forge now, but it's going to be a bit too late. Whereas Banana, we're just on 3-gate production. Pretty heavy zealot in the beginning. Working our way to goon tech. But zealots get inside, they're going to clean up performances, zealots here, and then he's going to start losing workers, and I just don't see a way that he ends up holding this attack. Meanwhile, we have GGeasy just continuing to work on bio. He may go for a bust here once he has stem. And yeah, this is what I was, just one extra cannon. Okay, GG was called. That was a quick game 1 here. Going to game 2. Yeah, so pretty much played out kind of like what I was explaining could happen with that matchup. The thing is, as the Karen, there's not a whole lot you can do about it in that situation. You just kind of need your teammate to play defensive, because once you bust out, like if you get the siege tanks and you're building a bio behind that, by the time you bust out, you can have a very, very powerful mid-game army. Alright, so game 2 on BGH. This time we have a shared choke between GGeasy playing Zerg this time instead of Terran. I think he was picking random in the fastest games as well during the qualifiers, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And then performance, his teammate spawning at 12 o'clock, meaning that they have a shared choke, can be like a very, very strong defensive position. We'll see how they decide to play it out. 3 o'clock we have TT1 on Protoss again, and at 6 o'clock we have Banana TQ also on Protoss again. Alright, so this game automatically plays very, very differently. This is a big part of BGH. Spawn locations can make a massive difference on the flow of the game. So there is no holding someone as double toss. Like usually as double toss, when you have that kind of uneven matchup, you're looking to block someone in and then double team one. It's kind of like the standard strategy. There's obviously a lot of different things you can do, but that's kind of just the standard go-to. When you're against Zerg, it's a little bit different because Zerg can go 9-pull and it does automatically give them early game control for the first few zealots. So if you're playing like Zerg Toss, you're pretty much guaranteed to block someone in, but it does mean your 2v1 isn't as strong as it is if you can pull it off as double toss. But because we're shared choke here, it means that there is no option for blocking the teammate off and hitting the other one. So it already has to be played very, very different. One thing that I do like to see is when someone is playing shared choke, is to go for kind of an early mech here, or tech build. And already you can see performance and GGeasy kind of doing like what you would do in those kind of situations, relatively standard. So you have early lings controlling the early game here, so that the other player can go some sort of tech. So we're going straight to Dragoons. And we're getting 2-gate out of both TT1 and Banana, so there's no immediate reaction to seeing the Dragoon tech, which makes me think they're going to try and get aggressive on it. But that is, I believe, because they didn't know that GGeasy was Zerg. So we'll kind of see. Like, the Ling should be able to buy enough time as long as performance hits his timings correctly. It should buy enough time for performance to get his Dragoons out. And he can start cutting zealots, or Dragoons around. But we did get one Zealot. I actually like, in this situation, skipping the Zealot and trying to get the Goon out as fast as possible, because your Lings are going to get overwhelmed relatively quickly against 2 Protosses going 2-gate. And the extra Zealot you have won't really be able to make too much of a difference. And losing 1 Ling early is pretty painful, and even a 2nd Ling. So we've lost 2 Lings completely for free here. We're going to get the Probe at the cost of yet another Ling. Performance coming down with his Zealot here to help with the trade a little bit. So it does help with the very, very beginning trade here. We actually hit our own Zealot even. Like I said, like you can see the Zealot count's getting really high already. GGeasy floating 450 minerals. Would like to see an extra hatchery go down. Pylon goes down, so we're actually going to look to cannon here. While TT1 is going 3-gate. Not sure if I like the cannons per se, we'll see. Once goons come out, they can start harassing. I mean, even if cannons go up, which they should be able to go up here, the goons can trade really, really well against just cannon Zealot. But this is kind of the thing. But because we lost a little bit of the early game here, Zealots are going to be able to walk into performance, and this is 100% what he wanted to avoid. So we're going to take some probe damage, and this is going to hurt our Dragoon count quite a lot, which will make it much more difficult to get inside, or get out there to kill off the cannons. So a couple probes go down here. Maybe a third. There goes 3 probes. A 4th probe. It looks like we're just going to lose 4, so not the worst that it could have been. Didn't even like pull much miners, so we didn't lose even a lot of mining time. And now with the Lings and Goons out here in tandem, they can good box from GGeasy here. Stopping the Zealots and making them take some extra shots from the Dragoons. TT1 does manage to dig himself out, kind of move back here. But you have 2 cannons up against the Dragoons here. You don't want to lose a Goon. Yeah, that's pretty rough. You can just kind of wait for range here, and then you can start picking off with Zealots on the outside as you like move in for cannons. Just kind of play that dancing game back and forth, getting your shots on Zealots outside of cannon range when you can. Continuing Ling production here for GGeasy, and just now we're going back into drones. I do like the call to go drones here because your Lings aren't really going to help anymore in this situation, at least not for a while. You kind of need performance to be able to dig you out of here. You don't want the cannon count to get too high. It's not too bad with the positioning it is, but if the cannons were like more out here and it kind of bottlenecks the goons here, it becomes extremely difficult. But because it's out here a little bit, he does have a lot of this area to kind of play with here, to start sniping away at the cannons. And yeah, basically you just want to use these goons to get any shots off on the Zealots you can on the outsides. And then, oh, the pylon's actually out of range of the cannon, so that's pretty good. But once you basically want to play on the outside, you want to push the Zealots back like this, and then you can move in and like 2 volley a cannon back up and just kind of keep doing that dance like I was saying. Kind of see a 4th cannon comes up here. Performance having a hard time kind of getting in range. Yeah, I think he wanted to try and snipe the pylon here. Meanwhile, we have Corsair coming out from Banana, Corsair and DT, or Citadel rather. Layer's just about to finish up for GGeasy, but it's going to be a little bit. If he was waiting for Spire, it's going to be a little bit before he has anti-air. We'd actually kind of want a few goons to come across here and just help protect our overlords. I like that Banana left this overlord. He's going to use the 2nd Corsair to kill it. We want to get across as fast as possible and see if we can find any extra overlords, because this is pretty much a guaranteed overlord kill. He does find this overlord coming down, which is going to supply block GGeasy. And then if we're losing the 2nd overlord, okay, we're actually sending it straight across as well. Putting up a 3rd Corsair, so we're going to go heavy on Corsair. Meanwhile, we just have Dragoon Tech, it looks like, coming out of TT1. Robo facility here for performance. We'll see if it's going to be Reaver, and it does look like it's going to be Reaver. Defensive cannons put in place here. Evo Chamber coming down because we probably want to get some spores to help with the Corsair, but I really feel like we could have just called over a few Dragoons. Like, these Dragoons aren't even trying to break out, so I'd like to have just seen a few of our teammates' Dragoons here help us out. Otherwise, we're waiting for the spore, and we're just going to be losing Overlords for free over and over again until then. Going to be heavily supply blocked here. The Corsair did go down here and find the Overlord bottom right. Looks like we're going for the push now, but I think we'll back off once we see the cannons. Or maybe they want to commit still. He wants to go. Alright, so they're committing. It is only 4 Zealots coming out of Banana. Also expanding bottom left and going Corsair, so a little bit of a mismatch on builds going for this bust. TT1 was continuing army, whereas Banana was going tech and eco. But it looks like it may still be enough. We clear up the 3 cannons. There's actually absolutely no army coming out of GGeasy because we've just been losing so many Overlords here. And it does look like it's going to be pretty much impossible for Performance to hold this push. We have 1 defensive cannon, the Reaver coming out, but I don't think this is going to be enough. First shot connects on just the Zealot here. Begins move in, target the shuttle first. I don't mind that play because we have enough army that it's fine. And unfortunately, last shot does not go off. Maybe if the last shot was able to hit kind of center mass and hit all these goons, we may have actually been able to survive. ET's coming in from Banana as well behind this push. The last cannon going down, we have no detection, and there's no Overlords that can possibly get here because of the Corsair in the way. GG calls GG, and that means that TT1 and Banana TQ win the BGH series 2-0, earning them 3 points so far. And that has pushed us to the next map, which is going to be fastest. Alright, we're going to jump into the next map here, which is going to be fastest possible. And we'll see how things play out differently here, because this is GGeasy and Performance's Bingo, whatever we want to call them. This is their main map. This is their comfort zone. TT1 asking which gas I make first here, and Bug's right. I'm 100% with you, TT1. I have no freaking clue. I've had a hard time with the gases on this map as well. Alright, so top right we have Banana spawning in a Zerg, so maybe he was playing random in all these games here. And you just happen to land on Toss twice. His teammate, bottom right, TT1, playing once again as Protoss. GGeasy at 6 o'clock, ending on Terran. His teammate, Performance, at the 9 o'clock position, spawning in as Protoss. A Pylon Scout coming out from TT1. I feel like you'll see this a lot with players that aren't comfortable on the map, and they kind of don't know the meta, don't know the strategies. It feels like you kind of want to scout early because you don't know what to expect. You're not used to it. So just getting early information and trying to use like your natural game sense to understand. 430 muta, so I think Banana TQ is rushing straight muta. Seems to even have a timing in mind for how quick this is going to be, so they may have done a fair amount of practice, possibly. At least some practice on this map. Probe just harassing the SCV here, kind of being a pain. Around does 25 damage here. Barracks is going to finish though. Face it off, and we're going up to 3 barracks before gas here for GGeasy, so it's going to be heavy bio play. Meanwhile, his teammate also going 3 gates, so it's just going to be really heavy bio and Zealot play. Which is already incredibly different from the qualifiers that we casted the other day. They're just going for pure macro play. Before, when we were casting qualifiers, we were seeing like a lot of like quick cannons and blocking people in, and just really kind of annoying strategies. But yeah, just going straight up macro here. TT1 also going 3 gate. And Banana, like you said, going straight to lair here. Very, very quick muta style. Trying to get some sunkens here at the front. Map sucks. Evo, I am 100. We talked about this, right? I'm 100% with you. Not the biggest fan. TT1 trying to drop down pylons. I feel like this is very, very ambitious because your teammate is rushing for muta, and you're going to try and box in an opponent with your cannons here. It's kind of like the BGH strategy, except that we're trying to do it when our Zerg is going tech. So what's going to end up happening while we're fighting this here, we're going to have these zealots come in and just kind of clean up the cannons. And while we were getting decent trades against the bio, and would have got the cannons up, it is still 1v2 on the map, so it's a very, very, I would say almost impossible situation to pull this off unless your opponents just aren't making units. Still trying to drop photon cannons while the army is here in his face. We have 2 lings coming down, a few more extra coming from Banana. But it's going to be a little bit late. We're going straight to Spire here. Drop the Spire here, I assume. Yep. But is TT1 going to be okay at home is the question. The supply block now after losing that. Bunker's going to go up and block TT1 in. They're actually not going to push across. They're dropping just his pylons here. No fear. No cannons. We're not afraid. Defensive cannon here is going to stop these lings from getting any damage done. And it's going to be the follow-up. It's going to be another barracks here. And the academy. So we're going to stay on 1 barracks. The Spire Rush could do some damage if we don't get extra cannons coming out of performance here. Bio's going to come down. Now the cannons are coming up. But we have 5 zealots versus a good chunk of bio and way more zealots here. Just 8 zealots versus our 5. 3 more zealots on the way. Yeah, the cannons are not going to be able to finish in time, so TT1 losing all of his zealots here. And once this front is busted, our main base is just wide open. Looking pretty dire here for TT1, continuing to drop cannons while we're losing our front. But they're just going to chew through this. GG is called by TT1, and that's it. Over. Alright, quick game 1 here on fastest. Like I said, I was very surprised GGeasy and Performance went for just pure macro here. Very different, like I said, from the qualifiers. Pretty quick series overall so far. Surprisingly so. The fastest games can take the longest. But so far, yeah, going pretty quick. Alright, Banana, this time, top left, landing as the Terran race. We'll see what he goes for here, if he just goes for bio or some sort of tech. His teammate very close by the 12 o'clock position, TT1. Spawning in as Protoss. Bottom right, GGeasy, playing as Protoss this time instead of Terran. And his teammate Performance, also Protoss. So 3 Protosses, 1 Terran. Like I said, Banana and TT1 are very close spawns this time, so they should be able to protect each other much easier. See if there's like any crazy attempt at tech again from Banana or TT1, or if we just want to play standard macro this time since last game we kind of got run over by basic units. Sorry. Alright, so it is going to be bio play from Banana. We got 2 barracks coming down, 2 gateways here. It's going to be triple gate coming down for GGeasy. Imagine a 3rd gate for TT1 soon. They're opting for the 2nd pylon. And this kind of stuff happens from just being a lower money player, where you don't normally have 3 gates before you would start your 2nd pylon. Like on BGH, on Fighting Spirit, this is not like actually viable. But because you're incoming so much faster on fast as possible, you can easily drop your 3 gates and get your 2nd pylon before you would need use of it. I believe anyway. At least it's very close that it would be okay. Performance looks like we are going to go for Goon Tech here. Relatively quick assimilator after the 3 gate. So we might be a little bit light on the Zealot production compared to some of the other players, but we are going to have Goon Tech a little bit quicker here. Goons can obviously be very strong here. Terran Academy coming down as our geyser finishes up. Timing. 4th gate coming from GGeasy, no gas, so it's going to be heavy Zealot play from GGeasy. Performance ringing in for the Zealot, and this can be a very, very strong strategy on this map because workers do sit still the entire time. They can be very easy targets, and even trying to pull probes off can be a little bit of a pain. They do tend to get stuck on each other when they're coming loose, so they can still get hit while they're trying to get away. And see, as you can see, very quick, easy one kill. Circle around to the other side. Another kill here, and while this is going on, we're also fighting here, so there's a little bit of multitasking being taxed here. And see, this is what can happen. So when you pull, when you pull like a bunch of probes like this to try and drill, they do take a moment to get their mining back to being optimal. Some of them will like kind of double mine on top of each other on the same patch, and it takes them a little bit. We're having to pull off here again completely as 3 Zealots come in. More Zealots coming in, so TT1 just being pulled apart here a little bit with the Zealots running everywhere. Losing a fair amount of probes. We're down to 15 probes right now. 14. Gonna drill here and lose another one. Go back to mining. Another probe goes down. So we're down to 13 probes now for TT1. So his macro is not going to be able to keep up. Meanwhile, Banana, we're fighting here in mid with our bio. Medics are showing up now. And Stim is finished, so Banana can actually trade really well here. Meanwhile, we have the Robo facility coming down, so it's not going to be Goon Tech. I was wrong about that. It's going to be Robo and just more Zealots. Citadel coming down. We do have a pretty strong push coming here from TT1 and Banana. And no cannons here for GGeasy, just all Zealot production here. So if they can coordinate their push, it can be very, very powerful here right now. If only they knew the meta. Which one? You mean Banana and TT1? Like with the probe harass and stuff? Stemming in here, we do have a vulnerable mineral line here. If a fireback gets on that mineral line, and we are going for it, unfortunately we ran into 3 Zealots there. 4 Zealots off to the side, so we're going to circle this firebat around. But yeah, as you can imagine, if a fireback gets onto the mineral line, it can just immediately kill all of the probes if you're not careful. But GGeasy doing a good job bringing a few probes out to body block to protect the bulk of his mineral line here. We got a little bit of eco damage. We're down to 22 probes, still ahead of TT1. Bunch of cannons coming down, but we are getting another 2 probes here. Yeah, second probe goes down, a third probe goes down. So Banana doing a good job of picking up a few extra probes here for the remainder of this tiny army. Just those 3 Marines killed another 6-7 probes. So with that, TT1 actually a little bit ahead of GGeasy on economy. Cleaned up a couple gateways as well, gonna slow his macro down. All in all, this felt like a really, really good trade for Banana and TT1. So what ends up being important here is what is happening in the meantime, right? In the meantime, we have DT coming out, as well as Reaver and Zealots. Reaver and Storm Drops, as some of you guys may know, is kind of the like, it is the big like play-making thing for Fastest, right? I can't think of how to word it, but you know what I mean. Like, you get a Storm off, you get a like 1 Reaver Scarab, you can kill an entire economy with just in the blink of an eye. Zealots, 2 Zealots come down, Reaver comes out. Reaver actually shoots the turret first. Pretty good connection there. I didn't see how many probes or SCVs we had before. That shot, but yeah, we're taking a pretty good bit of damage because not only are we losing a fair amount of units, we're losing SCVs, we're also not mining. And on Fastest, every second that you're not mining is a huge amount of income lost. Oh, and while this is happening, we actually had the DT sneak in because we had no units here at the front with our turret. We do have 2 scans, but they're going to jump immediately on the scanner. We'll want to see at least a scan right before it dies, and there it is. Additional turret comes down, so that's why we were targeting the turret with the scarabs there, was because we had our DT running in. Not quite going to get these 2 DT. Turret is going to finish here though, kind of zone them off a little bit, but the second turret, which is the more important turret, actually in range, is going to get targeted. Meanwhile, we have a counterattack going on here, but we do have defensive DTs and just no detection. We're going to kill a fair amount of probes, it looks like, at least a few. TT1 actually falling behind on the worker count because we're on triple Nexus here from GGeasy. So 3 times the pro production as TT1 there. Looks like we were able to clean this up, possibly pulled it over to the other turret here. Or maybe the scanner wasn't rebuilt, we're at 50 MP. Storm drop does get stopped. So that was really good by Banana, so we managed to stop the storm drop without taking any extra damage. We may be able to stabilize here. Both of their ecos though, Banana and TT1, are both behind GGeasy and Go. Tech-wise from GGeasy though, we're a little light on the tech. We're just sitting here on 1 gas. And the gas mining, anytime I see the gas mining on this game, on this map, drives me insane. Looks like the play from TT1 is just going to be pure macro. We're going to drop the observatory so we can get observers out. Meanwhile, we got a 4 DT drop coming in, but we have 5 cannons here, so this won't be able to do anything. Yeah, I was going to say we could possibly drop out here, start sniping some of the outside gateways. There's us for a scan, and we get the scan, forcing the DT to turn and fight here. So we're going to clean up all 4 DT without losing really anything. That's pretty good. And I'm pushing through mid here. I've got a lot of cannons set up, picking off a lot of bio. Just kind of didn't expect this random assortment of cannons to be here. Looks like we don't have goon range yet, yeah. So Goon's taking a really bad trade there without the goon range. And then we back up after losing a bunch of army to the cannons as GGeasy and Performance come in with their Swallow Zealots here. Looks like the Banana and TT1 will be able to clear this army. We did lose one of the tanks. And there is a DT in here as well. Do we have an observer? Here it comes. Sleeping on the job, but just for a few seconds it looked like, so not too bad. And you see a lot of this as well, just because income is so high on fastest, you'll see just extra cannons thrown down even against siege tanks, just to buy time. TT1 understanding that they kind of need to hurry. If you look at the economy, GGeasy's up to 74 probes, that extra Nexus production kicking in pretty heavy right now. So it'll only be a few moments before his macro starts really popping off. So as we're slow pushing here, they're going to be distracted here, and we have a big storm drop coming in here. Essentially big storm drop coming in here. TT1 is a bit distracted, and I'll go ahead and say, as a non-fastest player, it becomes very difficult to kind of see this coming just because you're not used to it. There it is, the storm on the mineral line, and just like that, 20 probes go down. TT1 down to 16 probes. Got 16 versus the 83 and 66 of the other 2 Protoss players. That being said, we do have a very large army pushing down middle here, just kind of busting this through. We're even building cannons down into 6 o'clock. Follow-up storm drop is headed to 12 o'clock while this is happening. So Banana and TT1, they're going to need to get a lot of damage done here. Shuttle gets picked off there, maybe more of a distraction, make him feel a little bit safe. Because TT1 did see the shuttle. Hey, what's up, Petri? What's up, Petri? Pushing through here. Got some DTs on the flanks. Looks like sounds like a scan did go down, but I guess not here. Okay, we got the observer here. Follow-up drop comes down. Is it okay pool? It is a pool. We just don't have any workers to storm in the first place. And while we are trading pretty efficiently here, TT1's economy is just kind of in shambles. And Banana's also not really that good. I don't know if he took extra damage, or maybe we just haven't been too on top of the SCV production or we're fighting here. I don't know. An extra, like there's a starport. Kind of don't really need the production tab. I don't know if you guys watch that or not, but I'm just going to keep that down, I think, 'cause I don't really pay attention to it. Yeah, trading really efficiently. Another Swell Goons coming in here to protect. But the economy from GGeasy is going to be kicking in now. We just don't have quite enough gateways. We're queued up 4 or 5 units in some of these gateways. Just continue to build cannons backwards to buy as much time as possible. the Corsair and Shuttle combo. You see this a lot on fastest as well. You do this because it means the Corsair will tank the shots from the turrets or cannons or any other units that can shoot air before they would target the shuttle naturally. Looks like we did clean up all the tanks. I'm kind of sorry I looked away from that. I assume we had a couple storms go down, possibly. There's just that many zealots. The Goons may have pulled back. Storm drop comes down. Another 10 kills here on the workers. Banana down to 32 again. And you kind of just see the Banana and TT1 mostly just struggling with economy. Very strong armies, very powerful pushes that are trading really, really well. They just don't have the economy behind it to back up these pushes. To keep it going. TT1 thinking maybe of changing targets, and if you look at this, Performance has just this massive swell of gateways here. It's just going to be pumping army non-stop, up to 96 probes. GGeasy at 109 probes. And both players maxed. The combined supply of Banana and TT1 not quite reaching either player on GGeasy's team. So with that being said, it seems like this is going to be a near impossible hold. Just tons of zealots coming in. Gonna have some storms coming down possibly on top of these dragoons here. But even then it's not even needed. Yeah, 100 probes, it seems too high, right? Is there even 100 stacks of minerals? I thought it only went to 50. But yeah, GGeasy having more probes than supply for both Banana and TT1. Well, both players even. So it looks like we're going to hold this first wave possibly up here, while the cannons and dragoons playing defensively, but it just doesn't seem like we can keep up with this level of macro coming out of these players. GGeasy even slipping some extra gateways here at 6 o'clock. Looks like another storm may have gone down, or maybe we just missed the Templar. Still at 33 workers, so I don't think it was a storm drop. May have just been one left over from earlier. Yeah, and Banana and TT1 just pushed back inside their bases, and it just feels like this swell of units is never going to stop. We're even building probes instead of TT1's base because I guess we don't have detection, and we don't need detection. We don't need mobile detection. Cannons are our mobile detection. Here comes another drop while all this is happening. Templar comes out, Templar storms. Maybe misses a little bit on the side, but still kills 17 workers, and it feels like the writing's on the wall here, and I don't see how they ever push them back and make a comeback from here. I mean, Banana kind of holding, sorta, but I wouldn't say stabilizing. I mean, we're kind of dead. We're at 20 workers. Supply down to 100 total between the teams. GG is called. Alright, so we have so far Banana and TT1 taking 2-0 on BGH, the mutual map, but GGeasy and Dingo / Performance, whatever we want to call them, taking the 2-0 back on their own map. And now we're going to move to Banana and TT1's main map, which is Fighting Spirit. I will say the way they played BGH was relatively normal, right? This is gonna be easy. It's kind of the thing about the tournament, right? Is it's interesting to see if some of the other teams will be able to take games off of like the other team's main map, right? But it's kind of expected. It's expected that one team wins their main map, the other team wins their main map, and then the mutual map is kind of going to be the deciding factor overall. What it comes down to as far as like who's going to qualify in the end is who can win those maps that the other player is a part of, right? Or who can win those mutual maps. I do think the series is going to be pretty tough for GGeasy. I think Banana and TT1 on Fighting Spirit might be close to untouchable. But We'll see if anybody in this tournament can prove me wrong. Alright. Banana TQ spawning top right as Zerg. His teammate bottom right playing Protoss. Seems like TT1 is playing Protoss. Like they're playing on 24 turn rate. Banana may just be running random every single game, it looks like. And I respect that. Top left we have Performance coming in as Protoss. And his teammate GGeasy also has Protoss. So 2 Protoss versus Protoss Zerg. In my experience, Zerg Protoss is a very powerful combo on low money. You'll typically see 9 pull or overpull. We'll see if he goes for overpull here, or if I'm just completely wrong. And then Toss can kind of do a build depending on the races, right? But typically with a Zerg teammate, it is going to be overpull. I feel like you can just... I'm not 100% on this, because I'm not a 2v2 non-money player, low money. But I feel like Goons probably is pretty standard. Goons with Lings feels normal and strong to me. Maybe the difference being that if you're against a Zerg, maybe you would mix in like an extra Zealot or 2. Yeah, so here gas is going to come down, so it looks like I am a little bit correct about this. That's good. Yeah, this to me just makes sense. I feel like logically, Ling Goon just feels really, really strong. Ling's going to have the early game map control, and with this big, like, wide open area, like Fighting Spirit especially feels pretty good to me, I feel like, as a Zerg player. A lot of movement, a lot of room for movement, for picking off Zealots, get a lot of extra time to kind of build and react to units coming across the map, counterattacks, that kind of thing. Manor Pylon comes down, we'll see if GGeasy kind of knows response here. It looks like we don't. We just kind of accepted that we have 2 probes trapped. So what you would do here normally, when you get Manor Pylon like this, you have your probes attack. Or you can hit stop and try to move them out and juggle them out. If one ends up trapped on the inside, you just attack the pylon the entire time, because it can't do anything else anyway, right? So you just attack the pylon, put some damage on it. You want your Zealot on this pylon. We're taking a ton of eco damage from this. And GGeasy just kind of not reacting, maybe not even noticing that this is here. But this makes a huge difference. This is a low money income, low money map. So we're in a lot of pain here. He might be worried about getting hit and didn't want to bring his Zealots back, but it seems like he's not even noticed. Lings in the meantime, and go up to top left. We're not going to be able to get there. The ramp is blocked here. But we have 2 gate, no gas. And Dragoon tech coming down soon for TT1. GGeasy pushing across here, kind of on his own. Yeah, he doesn't notice this pylon, I think. The amount of income we've lost is insane, because not only is it 2 probes aren't mining, but the ones that want to mine this patch have to go all the way around. Yeah, GGeasy pushing out by himself here. You can tell we're not comfortable. So he's going to get double teamed here. And then Performance in the meantime looks like he's going for a counterattack, and it's just Steve. So we got enough damage on these Zealots that TT1 can defend himself, and then our Lings are coming back home in the meantime. Lair is finished. Pre-colony coming down just in case. Gonna be 4 Zealots. Sunken starting probably pretty soon, but maybe not even needed. Well, with him holding the ramp, it's a little bit of a pain, but he kind of came to the bottom of the ramp, so we got to trade a little bit better than we needed to, or could have. The Sunken coming up, we can kind of ignore these, except we might want to be making more Lings to come down, right? So maybe he goes for a flank at some point, try and finish them off. But Spire's going to start. No more Lings are going to be starting, so this is fine. And Dragoons are out, and they're going to start chasing Zealots around. We're just now starting gas for Performance. I don't know if I guess he maybe spotted. He must have spotted the lair building earlier, so he knows that there's going to be a potential probe muta. Muta coming out soon. For his probe line. So here, Dragoons are just going to be microing, and getting off a bunch of extra hits here. GGeasy just kind of right-clicked on this Dragoon, having to pull away, taking a lot of extra fire here. Zealot's getting cleaned up here by Lings, the ones that kind of move off the ramp a little bit. Yeah, just some discomfort. You can see there's a lot of discomfort here. And it is, like I said, Banana and TT1 are absolute monsters on Fighting Spirit. This is their comfort zone. It looks like the cannon's gonna be what kills the pylon of all things. That's very interesting. I don't know, I'd like to know if he just didn't notice it, or if he just honestly like completely went blank and didn't know how to deal with it. 6-minute matter pylon. And it can happen, like, if you're... Because I know this, like, it happens to me when they come out with new maps and I don't know the map. I've never played it before, I will often freeze up too, and I'll do, like, really simple things, so I get it. Zealot's here tanking for these goons a bit. Gonna move up and kill this cannon. 2 more cannons coming up. We do have the Overlord spotting the high ground at least. A lot of missed shots going on, but we managed to get the second cannon here. Kind of just 4 Dragoons though, so might be a little bit hard to push up the ramp, but we're getting, because of the vision from this Overlord, we're getting all these extra shots on these Zealots. Now these Zealots going down, we can possibly move up the ramp and kill it, but we're just going to take the trade and back off. I think that's fun. Another 4 Dragoons coming here. Easy still on just 2 gate. Cyber Core is coming down now. Got a Ford cannon going down, possibly looking to expand. Ooh, that didn't look like a cannon, so it looks like we lost that cannon, so that hurts a bit. And the Muta and Ling's gonna dive on this, and this just allows him to kind of get zone control over here to make sure he doesn't get an expansion up and running. Kind of down here picking away at units. TT1 said just to hold until the chat history, until he gets his DT out. I guess just to maintain that GGeasy doesn't get his Expo. Behind that, we can definitely safely take our Nexus right now. We've had really good trades all across the map. GGeasy pushed inside his base without any anti-air yet. So we can take this and we don't have to really worry about anything bothering this Expo. Six mutas, 7 mutas. He thought of diving on top of this cannon, may not have noticed this cannon down here. You for this. You? Oh, wasn't you? Hang on. W. Oh, QW. Sorry, it's turned up the speed a bunch. I have a pro observer, by the way. Okay, we got it now. Oh yeah, looks like we picked off a few probes there. Down to 16 probes. Pick off a lot of probes? Maybe we picked off a lot more than I realized while I was playing around with that. Even building cannons down here at the ramp, and then just getting down this ramp becomes an absolute nightmare. I would say impossible at this point. And he can just full commit to this. He's got his Expo up and running. We're up to 31 workers. Performance actually has a pretty good worker count as well, but doesn't need to expand. Oversaturated here a bit, so maybe a little bit of extra probes, which is fine if you're able to take an expansion. Overmaking probes is always good when you're able to take Expos and transfer. So both Banana and TT1 getting to expand here. We're just continuing to just chip away at these probes as we have a Corsair on the way, but we're down to 9 probes now. Unfortunately, this cannon here not really helping to protect the mineral line very well. So that Banana can back off. Happy to be a Zerg with more workers than a Protoss. Can't go wrong with that. That GGeasy and performance pretty much is both contained. GGeasy can try to move out, but we still don't have... Well, we got 2 Corsair, but this is a fair amount of Muta. These Muta can fight this as long as we don't clump too hard. And even then, I guess it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Not even losing a single Muta looked like. looking to kind of double team this bust to try and break out performance, but this is a lot of cannons, a lot of goons, and they're coming to back it up, and GG is going to be called. Game 1 goes to Banana and TT1. Alright, this time Banana, spawning in as Protoss instead of Zerg. I got the best race, he says. Hard agree. I personally feel like double Protoss can be a little bit weak. I don't know if that's actually true or not, just in my experience it doesn't feel like super strong. But who knows, maybe we'll be shown something I wouldn't expect. For me, the hard part when I think of double toss is how to tech, right? Because it feels like Zealots, if you're against Terran, Zealots feel very weak against the Vultures, obviously. But going Dragoon feels bad because of Zerg, going Lings. And then you also have like Muta stuff coming in behind the Lings, and yeah. I'm curious to see how they play it out. See if they can maybe show me something. Show me some like some double toss options here. GGeasy this time, instead of toss, is actually spawning as Zerg. Top right here. Looks like we're going for 9 pull. Standard. Part. And then his teammate Performance, Blue Protoss. Dropping his gateway here. We're first going to scout the Zerg, which feels really good for their team because I'm pretty sure GGeasy is playing random. So they'll quickly identify what the random race is here. Attacking with... Oof. This is a little bit painful. We attacked with 5 drones on the probe, hoping to get a little bit lucky and get the snipe, and then unfortunately it looks like we may have double-clicked or control-clicked on accident, and all our workers to one patch, had to resplit. So a fair amount of damage there. It's going to be 2-gate coming out of Performance instead of Dragoons. This pylon placement is actually not that bad, so it doesn't really mess with your mining too much. But it is an anti-manner pylon, right? So this pylon makes it where they can't drop a pylon here or pylon here to try and block your probes in. It does mean that they can still drop it here, but yeah, this is an anti-manner pylon. See here. Probe never left after taking that damage. Fine. Things are going to be hatching here now. Speed has started. Hold alpha gas, so we're just going to be mostly on Ling for a while. Fine. Looks like both Protoss is going 2-gate. And they can actually comfortably do this because they saw that blue is also going 2-gate Zealot. The concern would be if he was going Dragoon, but because he's going Zealot, they can both just go heavy Ling. I think Banana may have even confirmed the drones coming off of the gas, so they know there won't be Mutatech for a while. Zealot moving top right, maybe hoping to catch the Lings across the map while he moved in, but not gonna happen. Does get into this really good position where so he can trade like pretty efficiently. Actually, good micro by GGeasy, pulling back the weekend lane, losing 2 Lings instead of the 3 that he would have lost if he didn't micro. The gas came down from TT1 and a gas still. You can do this because he's gonna have 4 Zealots out, and he's gonna be pretty safe on this ramp, especially since he saw there were 3 Zealots on this. Cult typing, so Zealot gets surrounded, lose 1 Zealot. It would have been nice to see GGeasy instead of trying to jump on the Zealot running into the base, because Lings in the base can be a serious problem. Even had the Sunken coming down in case of a counterattack. We're dropping the expansion here. Got defensive cannons coming down here for Banana, and looks like we might be looking to take a very early expansion. Here come the Lings, possibly looking to make it up the ramp. We're going to be able to block the ramp off in time. Maybe get a jump on the cannon, but not overly important. We do have a lot of Zealots coming in. Don't want to waste too many Lings before the Zealots get here, though. You want to be able to trade with the Zealots. But we're going to trade all of our Lings off and not quite kill the cannon. It does allow blue to come in after the fact and at least clean up this position, but this was not that good of a trade. Maybe if he had initially jumped on the cannon, but yeah, just a little bit unfortunate. Pushing up this ramp's going to be pretty hard. Actually, that's pretty good surface area. I had 4 zealots attacking at one point, but Banana just getting better surface area now. 2 extra zealots come in, we got the cannon halfway done. And while we're pushing, yellow kind of was testing the other side of the map, but not going to be able to get up that ramp either. Now moving up with these zealots, but there's 4 zealots left over, 2 of these zealots very, very weak. Banana's pro production looking pretty good. Performance has been very good about his worker production these games, so I will give him that. A lot of times you see, like, when people are uncomfortable on the maps, they typically don't make enough workers. Performance has done a good job of making, like, good worker production no matter which map he's playing on. But yeah, it's funny how that ends up happening. Usually you'll see, like, fastest players or BGH players will undermake workers on low money because in their head they don't need as many workers because there's not as many mineral patches. And then ironically, low money people will be like, well, there's so many minerals here, I don't need a ton of workers. Like, look at these stacked workers on fastest stacked minerals, right? Laid back taps, thanks for the follow, man. Okay, thought. So the zealots here, just kind of trading off. I think they may have killed a drone or 2, I kind of wasn't paying attention, but we did get 2 sunkens out of it, which is still decent damage. Gonna trade out against the Lings here. Easy, still on 8 workers here. TT1 Goon production has started. We got the shuttle and a Reaver on the way. We have no lair from GGeasy, so Reaver can be very, very strong in this situation. And I'm managing to get his expansion up and running here soon. It's coming up. Hey! Arniac, thanks for the raid, dude. How do you say it? Arniac? How we're saying it. Aaron. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, a lot of Zealot coming out of performance here. Just starting our Goon tech for the first time. But we're taking our own Nexus, which is pretty decent. TT1 still on 1 base, but the Reavers are going to be pretty tough to deal with. Hydrogen actually coming down from GGeasy instead of Muta. Which is a little bit unlucky because we're dealing with Reaver from TT1. Got an Archives coming down for Banana as well. And their drone count in general is a little bit low, but we've resumed like pretty decent drone production here. Hey, what's up, Y2 Kid? Hey, Banana, thanks for the follow, man. I was actually going to see if I could get you to co-cast, but this is the last game or 2 here of the series. I lose my voice very easily, so... Howard Champion. Yeah, I knew you were on CSL. You promised me you would lose quickly. You lied to me. Alright, so Banana, pretty good worker count. Strong, natural up and running. We get our extra gateways coming down now. We're up to 10 bar tech, which is very good. TT1 going to be pushing out off of 1 base. Low worker count, but that's because we're on 1 base still. So we're going to be Reaver pushing this, and we're only on 4 Dragoons now. It's going to be a pretty tough situation. Dragoon range at least is going to finish in time. Getting up 2 more Zealots, which is going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get on top of this Reaver with just the 4 Dragoons, but we'll see how he does here. Does manage to move forward, get 1 volley off from the shuttle, 2nd volley. Finishes the shuttle, but I mean, actually not too bad. All in all, I don't know if it's enough though. I mean, there's a lot of goons here. We don't have a whole lot to go with these cannons to soak damage. DT coming down as well too. It could have gone better, could have gone worse, but that was close to as good as I would have expected. And with the extra zealots coming in for Banana, it looks like we're going to break this position. And once we lose this expansion, we're so far behind on eco with Banana's 42 probes and expansion here. It seems like it's going to be hard to come back. And we're on Hydra Tech. We got DT here kind of intercepting the Hydra in the meantime. Nexus goes down, and we don't need to push up this ramp, right? We accept killing this base. And we don't need to waste army, we just go back to doing map control. TT1 can probably move out to expand now if they'd like to. Give me a moment, Sammy, I'll get back to you on that one. But currently, no, the qualifiers are closed for now, for this tournament. And if we end up doing another one, I'll probably make a bunch of posts about it and try to advertise it a bit better. I guess I won't get back to you on that one, I'll answer you now. So now we have the Templar tech coming out. We have 3 storms, it looks like, available. And this position looks like this is going to be broken. We don't have lurkers even. And with 3 storms and a bunch of goons and a bunch of zealots, this is going to be a near impossible hold. And we're not going to be able to get any help from TT1, or performance rather. First storm at least doesn't hit too much, but I mean this is just so much army, right? We're just too far behind in supply. Second storm on the zealots was fantastic. Third storm's a good storm, we killed the hydras, a couple drones there. Now we're gonna break this position. We can actually push up this ramp if we want to. But the zealots and dragoons are gonna come up behind and kill a couple Templar. This is not nearly enough army, even with this extra coming in. And GG is called from easy. And it looks like that's gonna be it. TT1 and Banana taking Fighting Spirit, kind of as expected. But I will say GGeasy and performance actually didn't look that bad in these games on Fighting Spirit. So just to recap, first series on BGH, Banana and TT1 did take it 2-0, earning them 3 points for their map score. Game 2, or Series 2 I guess, on fastest, GGeasy and performance in their comfort zone. Really just kind of out-macroed them both games, honestly. No tricky play really, nothing too fancy, just really heavy macro and storm drops. Good old storm drops on fastest. And winning that series also 2-0. Earning them 3 points as well. Then we moved to Fighting Sphere with Banana and TT1 taking it. I wouldn't say a quick 2-0. I do think Fighting Spirit can be a little bit hard to end quickly because of the ramps, but it was a pretty controlling series. So all in all, they earned themselves 6 points.